Hello and a very good morning to all of you. Of course, it's Monday, the 18th of February, and I know a lot of you are disappointed that it's Monday because needless to say, everybody hates Monday. But then again, if you are up at this time watching this show, which means your day is going to be great because as they say, if you're up early, your day is going to get a good head start. Now, of course, I am just going to tell you a little bit about the more interesting topics we have lined up for you today. And of course, Thursday being Valentine's Day, we are obviously going to discuss a little bit about how some celebrities did for Valentine's Day, and of course we've got this whole story about the Pope resigning, which the media has been discussing lately, and of course we have a little bit about a roundup of popes in Latin America and African heritage, and we've got a little bit of stuff to show you about that. And of course Michael Kors brand goes public. We want to discuss a little bit about that as well, and another incident which shocked a lot of South Africans and many people worldwide, which echoed after the gang rape incident in India. We've got a little story on the South African gang rape, and also we've got a video that is most likely definitely going to make you itch. Now, to start off with, I'm just going to tell you a little story springing from Valentine's Day. Of course, Valentine's Day, as we know, was a celebration of love, but not in this case. You would have heard about Oscar Pistorius, who was charged with the murder of his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp on February 14th. Reeva Steenkamp was shot dead at his home in Pretoria in the early hours of that morning. Now, so for those of you who don't know who Oscar Pistorius is, let me just give you a little background about this person. He's also known as the Blade Runner. Now, Oscar Pistorius is a South African sprint runner. Pistorius, who has double below knee amputations, competes in T44. Now, T44 is single below knee amputees, and events through he is actually classified in T43. And T43 is double below knee amputees. Now, 6 months ago, he was watched by millions as he sprinted down the track of London's Olympic Stadium, and he's also considered globally as the fastest man, rather, with no legs. Now, court proceedings for this case began last Friday, which was the 15th of February, and he denied his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp's murder in the strongest terms. Now, the magistrate delayed Pistorius's bail hearing until Tuesday and ruled that the 26-year-old who would be held at a Pretoria police station until then. And of course, at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London, Pistorius became the first double-leg amputee to participate in the Olympics when he entered the men's 400 meters and a race, and was part of South Africa's 4x400 meters relay team. And this is just giving you a little background about Pistorius's achievements, because of course there's a lot of talk going around Oscar Pistorius, but nobody really knows who Oscar Pistorius really is unless you are an Olympic fan. Also, we've got a little thing about which I discussed to you earlier on the show. We've got a little bit about the Pope and some candidates that could be the next Pope. So just check this out.
Pope Benedict's stunning announcement that he will resign later this month, the time may be coming for the Roman Catholic Church to elect its first non-European leader, and it could be an African or Latin American. After the Pope John Paul and German-born Benedict, the post once reserved for Italians is now open to all.
The last thing they want to do is elect another old Pope who will be put into the same situation in a matter of 5 or maybe even 10 years. So it seems that the odds of having a younger Pope are much greater this
The new Pope will be the man that the cardinals who elect him at the next conclave think will guide the Church best. In addition, the fact that Benedict cited health reasons for resigning could favor younger candidates no matter where they're from, said Reuters Vatican correspondent Philip Puella. Europe, which has half the cardinals in the conclave, even though only a quarter of the world's Catholics live there, still has strong candidates if the voting tilts to the old continent. The leading candidate is Cardinal Angelo Squella of Milan, a traditional springboard to the papacy. Vatican watchers saw Benedict's decision to transfer him there from Venice in 2011 as a tip that he might be the pontiff's preferred successor. Squella has been an outspoken opponent of civil unions in Italy. His 2003 book, The Nuptial Mystery, gave a long theological argument favoring traditional marriage and denouncing abortion, artificial birth control and feminism. As head of the Oasis Foundation promoting exchanges between Christians and Muslims in the Middle East, he is one of the few candidates with frequent contacts with Islam, the second largest faith in the world after Christianity. The man who might provide the most change could be Vienna Cardinal Christopher Schoben, a former student and ally of Benedict, whose doctrinal orthodoxy is not in question, but who has shown unusual flexibility dealing with pastoral challenges. He opposed a call to disobedience by reformist priests, but chose to dialogue with them rather than simply discipline them. The more nuanced approach could appeal to cardinals who don't want an isolated pope, but cost him votes among the most conservative cardinals.
Oh, well, welcome back. Well, that's a little about the current situation. If for those who are interested in, and if those who are interested in to know who the next pope could be and what the situation is right now. Also, there's a little story I've got here about a rather interesting, sad incident which took place in the US. Needless to say, around the globe there's still a lot of racism going on, and this story is a little bit about that, where a nurse is suing a hospital claiming it agreed to a man's request that no African Americans care for his baby. The lawsuit accuses managers at Hurley Medical Center in Flint of reassigning Tonya Battle, who has worked at the facility for 25 years, based on the color of her skin. Now, a father had told her supervisor that he didn't want black people caring for his baby, and this is how the whole lawsuit sprang from. And a note on the baby's chart asks that no African Americans care for the child, and of course there is a lawsuit in the States going on that. Also, we've got a lot of interesting topics coming up, but before that we are going to take a short break and come back, so stay tuned on Good Morning Sri Lanka. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. My name is Wasam Ismail, and of course earlier before the break we were talking a little bit about Oscar Pistorius and how crazy his Valentine's turned out to be. But of course I'm pleased to inform you that when MTV did have a promotion recently, which we did send 10 lucky winners for a fantastic Valentine's treat, they did have a great time, and I'm sure you are catching some of the clips which MTV has recorded with them. Also, talking on the same topic of Valentine's, like I said when we started the show, we will be looking at how some celebrities spent their Valentine's Day. Of course, Matt Damon, Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway weighing about their plans for Valentine's Day. Hugh Jackman says he will keep his Valentine's celebrations fresh and new, and Jennifer Lopez sums up her plans in one word. Check this out.
I don't really celebrate. I mean, just usually send my kids cards and chocolate. That's about it. And hope that they remember and make me a card.
Actually, I'm working on a project right now with Eve Ensler and V-Day called 1 Billion Rising, which is focusing on ending violence against women in the world by getting people to dance. And right now we have like 182 countries committed to dancing on Valentine's Day. So I'm going to be dancing to try to end violence against women.
The key ingredient to romance is surprise, and it would really not be good if my wife heard on national television what I was planning for her. Sorry. But it'll be something different. It's got to be something different. Can't pull out the same routine.
Well, thank God we'll be with our significant others by then. So yeah, we might have
the storm keeps you here, then you and me again.
Yeah, if the storm's really bad, then we're going to have a nice dinner. Yeah.
We've had a couple wonderful Valentine's Days, so I don't want to weigh one against the other. Honestly, just actually having one-on-one time together for me. We've got there's 2 kids, and Valentine's Day when you're a mom and you have a family and you work a lot, it's just a really nice time to spend together. This Valentine's Day, it's my parents' 30th anniversary, so that blows all of us out of the water, and I think we're mostly focused on my parents. 30 years together is a long time, and it's pretty amazing.
Usually Valentine's Day is not really a big day for me other than performing and doing my thing. Not big on the pressure of Valentine's Day,
Surprises, a lot of surprises. I love surprises. So I gotta get a plan. I gotta get some surprises together. But a lot of surprises. It's good to be surprised, and just something simple, So
count how many years I'm single. I mean, really, I just like to. Since I was little, I really just turned my attention to my mom.
Oh, we try to go out to dinner when we can. A lot of times we're working, but we just try to do something nice. Yeah, something nice. We'll do something nice. I'll tell you afterwards.
Having a quiet evening at home.
Yeah, funnily enough,
champagne.
It is. It's not about going out on Valentine's Day. We go out a lot, and actually the nicest thing for us is to stay at home, cook dinner in, open a bottle of vintage champagne, and call it a night early, if I'm lucky. I like to get lucky.
Valentine's Day, kiss her. My favorite thing to do on Valentine's Day is kiss. I like it. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah. Well, as Hugh Jackman said, the key ingredient for romance is surprise. And I hope all you gentlemen out there managed to surprise your ladies quite sufficiently well so that they were indeed satisfied. Alright then, taking you back to a little bit of more sad news apart from Valentine's. Of course, last week we heard about a brutal incident that happened in South Africa, which was where a 17-year-old South African girl died of injuries inflicted in a gang rape, provoking rare outrage around the world. And of course, South Africa is a country which is inured to some of the world's highest level of sexual violence. The victim has been sliced open from her stomach to her genitals and dumped on a building site in the town of Bredasdorp, which is 130 kilometers east of Cape Town. And of course, the victim identified one of her attackers before she died. It said hospital staff who battled to save her life were given counseling because of the horrific nature of the injuries. So of course, it must have been quite a traumatic experience for the staff who handled the victim as well. As in, of course, I mean, even when we hear about an incident like this, we feel disturbed about the whole thing. I can only imagine what the staff in the hospital went through. And the South African rape when the